Hi, I'm Landon, and I'm new here, clearly. Why do I say that? Because I released my first video of the James Clear Atomic Habits chapter summary and review series on Thursday, and I should have waited until today, Monday, to do that. I mentioned in the video that I would probably correct that scheduling error at some point in time, and I've decided that that needs to happen now, before I go forward with any other videos in this series. It makes sense because if I continue the chapter summary and reviews, I'm actually splitting up each chapter over 2 weeks, and that makes no sense. I would like to be able to read the chapter through the week, compile the notes, do the filming, get everything prepped to be able to be um, posted. I'd like to get that all done on the weekend. So, in that decision, though, I discovered that the intro to the book was actually worth reading. How many intros to books have I not read that I would have benefited from? I probably won't find out. But today's video will actually cover that intro chapter to Atomic Habits. And in doing so, we'll give some insight into who the author, James Clear, is and how and why he developed his framework around atomic habits. I've got my iPad here, it's got plenty of notes. Let's get into it. So, James Clear and his story. James Clear grew up as a boy loving baseball. He and his father had dreams of him playing professionally. But the last day of sophomore year, James took a rogue bat to the face in a game that caused him significant injury. He was first sent to the school nurse, then to the city hospital, and finally he was airlifted to a better equipped hospital in Cincinnati. In that hospital, James was placed in a medically induced coma and put on a ventilator. Luckily, only for one night. I can't imagine how his parents must have felt in that moment. He shortly after had surgery to repair his broken nose, his eye sockets, which were cracked and shattered, and his left eye, which was falling out of its socket. Even after his surgeries and hospital visit, he had almost a year of recovery to do to get back basic functionality. He was dealing with seizures, he had vision problems like double vision, and he even had to relearn basic motor functions like walking straight. Eventually, though, he did return to his high school and to baseball, although this was rough. It turns out that after his year off, in my words, he sucked. And he got cut from the varsity baseball team at his school. He was still probably better than I am at baseball, though. I can't even hit that ball. Eventually, he did make it onto his varsity team again through hard work and responsibility. And later at Denison University, this would lead him to learning about the power of habits. These habits would ultimately lead James to be selected as the top male athlete at Denison University. He would be named to the ESPN Academic All America team, and he would hold records in 8 separate categories at his school and be awarded with the President's Medal, Denison University's highest academic honor. He never did play baseball professionally, but I'm not sure he's unhappy about that. In 2012, James began posting articles at his website, jamesclear.com, and by 2014 he had 100,000 subscribers on his email list. He was becoming known as an expert on the matter of habits. By 2015, he had doubled his subscriber count again and began working on the Atomic Habits book that we're reading now. He also began to speak at top companies and began to deliver keynote speeches at conferences in the US and across Europe. James also began seeing his articles appear in major publications such as Time, Entrepreneur, and Forbes, and saw that major franchise coaches for national sports teams in the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB were all using his material to help their teams. In 2017, James launched the Habits Academy, which works to train everyone from individuals all the way up to Fortune 500 company leaders in creating better habits for life and work. By 2018, This book, Atomic Habits, was nearing completion, and James Clear was regularly receiving millions of visitors per month to his website, and he had almost 500,000 subscribers to his weekly newsletter. In the book, James describes this as, quote, a number that is so far beyond my expectations when I began that I'm not even sure what to think of it. I think I would feel proud of an achievement like that personally. But all that said, that just about wraps up the history behind James Clear and how the book Atomic Habits came to be. Now, James describes the book as an operating manual, a step by step plan for building better habits for a lifetime. I'm excited to get deeper into this book. I haven't yet read past chapter one, but I'm hoping that you'll join me as we read and review the second chapter and beyond. That's all I have for today, though. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. And if you're Canadian like me, I hope you've had a great Thanksgiving.